Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
So we've been talking about our partners at Orlando Science Center.
We have indeed.
And this weekend with Spark STEM Fest going on all weekend. Of course, Science Night Live Saturday, February 18th.
Yeah, don't forget, if you are a member, you can slide into the STEM Fest whenever you'd like I'm going to do with my family.
And so we've been talking to scientists,
Yep.
which I love, by the way. I love our partnership with Orlando Science Center because I've always loved science my entire life. It makes sense to me. I don't know if that sounds ridiculous, but it's always like the great equalizer in my life where if like math and science.
The answers seem true and finite, right?
It's like religion to me. Like it's like, oh, that makes sense. Logical. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like this
true reasoning. Yeah.
Yeah, this makes sense. And then I love it.
Well, the chat room is already, I knew this was going to happen because I already have our guest on camera. The chat room already figured out who we're talking to. But she's talking to us about something a little different today, so just slow down a little bit.
Alina Burroughs is here. How you doing?
Hey.
So first let's talk about Pharaoh, because you're going to be at Spark STEM Fest at Orlando Science Center, and I want to talk about what
kind of science are you?
Yeah, what Pharaoh is exactly.
Yeah, so we're talking science, which, that's my language.
Yes, yeah.
And you can't get cooler than lasers.
And have you always been science-minded, even since when you were a young kid? It made sense to you, right?
Yeah, that makes sense to me too, right? Science has always been it is or it isn't.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And science solves problems. That's the thing that makes the most sense about me. That's what I love about Pharaoh.
Yeah, I love problems.
Yeah,
no,
I
she likes to solve them.
Oh, okay. I mean, you can solve them if you want to, but
so what exactly?
You need a problem first.
For non-scientists and like dads like us, what exactly does Pharaoh do?
So, we're solving problems with lasers. How cool is that, first of all?
Yeah, I mean, just simply saying that, I'm like, okay, but
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Right. So, we make a variety of hardware and software and cloud-based storage solutions. So, in a nutshell, you have to capture reality in some way. So we're capturing reality using lasers. And what we've done with the Orlando Science Center is we have scanned the T-Rex.
Yeah.
So
the infamous, OSC T-Rex that we all see when we're in there. And you guys, Pharaoh came in and you guys scanned the entire thing.
Yes. We used one of our terrestrial laser scanners to create a virtual copy of this T-Rex. So now this T-Rex exists virtually in a completely measurable capacity that you can manipulate virtually. You could also 3D print this.
I'm gonna need that STL file. I'm gonna need that.
Oh, now you're gonna be playing with it.
I just got into 3D
Daniel's
printing.
a scientist too.
I forgot to tell you, I am a 3D printing scientist. Lately, I've been printing things I can't even tell you what I've been printing because it will scare Jeff, and I don't like scaring Jeff. Jeff's my buddy, but yes, I've been 3D printing bad things.
Yeah.
But that's where it starts. Is you have to capture reality. And Pharaoh creates solutions that allow you to capture reality in a variety of industries. Public safety is more my world in terms of crime scene and collision investigation, but there's also construction, there's robotics, there's aeronautics, there's, the space industry. So the capture is one side, and the hardware and the laser scanners that allow you to do that. Then there's the other side in which we are envisioning the world in a different way. We then allow people to manage this data in software, measure this, because all of this is completely measurable, and then share it, collaborate, right? The world is a lot different than it used to be. We aren't living in this world where you put things in inner office envelopes.
Right. Right. Get the courier, put it on the bike.
Yeah, none of that, right? We have to be able to have multiple people in these meetings and make decisions immediately. We don't work in silos, and we want to be able to do all that quickly. And so now cloud-based storage, you put all of this information, all of this data, and you have people from all over the world that can immediately access this information, look at it, make decisions on it.
So, and then that's what, the best tool that any scientist has is
their brain.
Is data, and data storage.
I was trying to write something for Bartlett's quotes.
And the ability to reference information, which we've, I feel like in this time in humanity, we've never had.
Fingertips all the time.
And it keeps getting better every single day, right? And then there's like the AI part of it where it's like, I imagine with like being a forensic scientist. I wonder if that ever is going to come into play with where AI will be able to like search this tremendous database and pick out what's relevant to a particular case. Is there something like that?
It's already there. And
Okay.
you know, to give you an example of how it's utilized and how Faro does that is like in the automotive industry. So in the automotive industry, you have robotics on the line. You have cars that are being made, and as they go down the assembly line, you need to know if the part has been manufactured to spec, to that specification. And you have CAD drawings, computer-aided design, right? We know what that part needs to be made, what size it needs to be made. So instead of having a guy that goes, well, let's take that one widget off the line and go measure it and make sure that we're making it as it should be made, you've got robots on the line with laser scanners that can basically look at the part and just automatically tell you, yes, it's to spec, or no, it's not, instead of shutting down the line.
I think a lot of my car was sort of built like that. There are some people that I have a Tesla, and a lot of people are like, and you can see the line, and you can see the lack of humans on it. In fact, they're trying to build one that has no humans.
Well, speaking of
Like
humans,
none. For a long time.
like being a scientist is your greatest enemy, humans, because they seem to have a lot of flaws,
Well, especially
and,
now.
Well, and they
It changed the last couple of years. It seems like people are fighting the science a little bit.
And I often find they distrust reality and proven math or whatever.
I can't hold a laser.
Like when the computer and AI tells you this is the thing you're looking for, this part, and then like I feel some human's gonna be like, I don't know.
hands on his hips,
I'm like,
yeah.
what are you talking about? You don't know. This thing is smarter than you. It's a trillion times. It's doing a trillion calculations. Your brain can't even keep up. Of course it knows more. Just
Right.
trust. I yell at Daniel's Tesla when it's driving us around, and Daniel's like grabbing the wheel. I'm like, let it drive. It's better than all of us.
He
So,
does do that. It's scary.
You know, I just feel like people don't necessarily understand how things work, and therefore they distrust what the information is given it.
People are always part of the process. And I think one of my beefs with a lot of companies, no, nothing against Tesla. But when you look at...
Oh, well, I mean, it's a corporation. I mean, by design, right? By design.
Well, part of the problem with a lot of companies is they'll create something and they'll push it out to people and they'll say, you need a blue button. Everybody, you need this blue button. And everyone goes, well, no, we really don't. They push that out there. Well, what a good engineering company does, engineering is part of STEM, right? Is they listen to customers, and then customers say, well, what we really need is something that does this. This is my workflow. Daniel gets up every morning. He gets in his car and he does A, B, and C. And every time he does B, it creates this problem, right? And engineers go, wow, that's a problem that we need to solve for our customers. And then you have a company that goes, no, we need to make a blue button. And everyone goes, but we don't want a blue button. We want you to solve the problem of B. So engineering looks at what is the workflow that our customers are physically doing that's creating a problem, and how do we solve that? So when you have companies like Faro that are just curious professionally,
Right.
they're scientists, they're technologists, they're engineers, they're
Right
curious
term, professionally
people
curious.
that-
Is that copywritten? That's good.
that solve problems, right? We're not just telling you need a blue button. We go, use this. We made a blue button. You need it. You'll use it. And everyone goes, well, we don't really want a blue button. We want you to fix this problem that we have.
Right.
That's what we're in the business of doing. That's what engineering is about. It's about solving a problem based on a customer's workflow and understanding what issue they have, not just giving you a blue button because it looks cool.
Simply, what is the strangest thing that Faro or you, maybe yourself or your team, has ever had to map or image or laser or however the verb would be?
Strangest? I don't know. So I spent my first 5 years at Faro as an applications engineer in training public safety, crime scene investigators and collision investigators all over the world, teaching them how to use the product so that they can go out and
rad. So
and
you were
use our
like
products.
the person that was in that world that they
Yes.
brought in. They
Yes.
give you the new technology, the scanner, or I don't want to call it what it shouldn't be called, but
It's a laser scanner.
yeah, the technology, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's broaden it. And then you're able to go out and train all these different people
Yes.
on the technology. That's a dope job, man.
Because we want to use people that understand the workflow. We don't want to just force a blue button.
Right.
We want to bring people that understand what that is. We want to bring scientists and engineers and researchers, and then have
And
them
that's
go
that
out and
human
say,
element, right?
a
yeah.
human element. We know what it is that you do. We understand your workflow. We're making products and software for people that use our products. And so that's exactly what we did. They hire people that know how to do the job, and then we go out and I go, hey, I know how you use this, and here's what to do when you get in this weird scenario. But so I've scanned some odd things. I scanned the Durham bull in Durham, North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
What even brought that? How did you do that? Why?
Yeah, why?
Well, first you get in a car and you drive to downtown Durham.
That's a scientist answer if I've ever heard one. I love it.
Back to humans.
Yeah, you're not logical.
You want to practice because especially in fields like crime scene, you're going to get called to do some things that are going to push the limits, and you want to be able to test how you're going to do it in that scenario.
So you push the limits on your own.
You push the limits so that when you get into that scenario, you are prepared to know how to use the tools.
Huh.
So how does the technology because we've all seen TV shows and movies, and we've seen maybe a crime scene TV show, CSI.
You can say it.
And then they set up the the camera or the scanner in the middle of the room on a tripod, and then you see the green laser go over the couch, and it's like,
yep.
And then all of a sudden they punch it up. They're like, here's the room, and here's everything that we should
put these goggles on. I'm walking around and I'll pretend I'm the murderer.
Does it work like that, or
basically, yes. The only difference is that the laser light is not visible to the naked eye. So the way that the scanner works is it's terrestrial, meaning that it starts on, it's on the ground, it's mounted to a tripod, and it produces multiple wavelengths of laser light, non-visible to the naked eye. It doesn't harm the eye, so you don't need to wear any type of protective eyewear.
That's pretty great.
And it produces these out. The lasers come out of one side of the laser scanner, so it's kind of mounted. It looks like a box, for lack of a better word. And it comes out of one side of the laser scanner. It strikes a mirror. The mirror in the center of the scanner rotates very rapidly so that it disperses the laser. So as it rotates around, we're talking about, this is previous statistics, but greater than 976,000 points per second. Ooh. And the lasers then are dispersed until they strike the surface of whatever's in this room. So like wherever we sit, lasers are striking chairs, tables, objects. When they hit the surface of the mirror, they're then reflected back to the scanner. And because we know the time of flight of a laser, of light through space, it translates that distance into time. And now we know that's why it's measurable.
Gotcha.
Jeff, can I just tell you, I love your guests. You bring in, lately he just brings us like these super creative, awesome ladies. Like you're just bringing us these like mega heavy hitters in their fields.
So
thank you, buddy.
As you were talking,
my God,
it dawned on me that I'd like to change our whole judicial.
Judicial.
Can you spell that for me?
Judicial.
This all plays into what I'm about to say. Because I can't say the word, is that I started thinking, like, I'm fine with some supercomputer replacing the human jury during any sort of trial, and then the computer determining whether someone's guilty or not just by taking all the evidence.
Just do a scan.
Because as you were explaining to me how the scan works, I'm like, no way any jury understands this, and or like 90% of humanity that actually don't throw away their jury summons that show up, they can comprehend the science in some of these cases. Like science is surpassing human capability of the average person to even understand it.
You're just saying lean in.
Because I can imagine you're explaining, like, forensic science is explaining, like, here's the evidence in this case, and then everybody's dead behind the eyes just looking because they have a high school education from Florida. And they have no idea what they're talking about. And then they're looking at a scan. They're like, I bet it's a little bit different than the scan. You're like, no, it can't be.
Hey,
can we?
There's a lot of different ways to explain things to people. Right. There's a lot of different ways to explain science. So the way that I talk about laser scanners, I can canoe, I can scuba dive.
I know canoes. I know scuba diving.
Right? He knows both of those. You broke it down
keep
for
talking.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So guilty.
We're going to be canoeing for like 2 days. Yeah.
It depends, if I'm talking to scientists that need to understand the nanometers and the wavelengths of the laser scans, if I'm talking to attorneys that are trying to, we're talking about Fry and Daubert standards and getting evidence into a court of law, different conversation. If I'm talking to a jury that needs to understand, then the conversation is that I'm making a virtual copy of the crime scene that is measurable.
Right. Okay. You broke it down in layman's terms there. Like what What would be some of the harder things to scan? Like you set it up in the room, right? You're going to get, let's say you set it up in here and you're going to get everything in here. Are there some things that are unscannable? Are there some things that are your biggest pain in the butt that like, you're like, or is it relatively foolproof?
So across the board, just based on laser light, think about lasers and water.
Right.
When a laser strikes water, it's going to disperse the laser. So water is a challenging surface for lasers, right?
Interesting. But I'm sure they're working on technology or lasers or maybe things that can't, or is water just, sorry, man, that's water.
There's like penetrating radar at that point, right? Where like you could scan things underground and then it's using
like waves.
That's totally different technology. Ground penetrating radar. There's sonar, and there's lidar, there's radar, there's all different types of stuff. Join me next week.
Yeah, no, look.
For a conversation.
Again, I'll go back to talking to Jeff. It's like if Jeff wants to bring us a scientist a week, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, man. It's fun because we get to talk to super smart people that tell me stuff I don't know.
So, and I imagine though too, like like if there's something in the room that's blocking like the laser scanning it, so it's like you need to then go, say there's a desk.
Yes.
Well, you need to know what's underneath that desk, right?
Yep.
And then so you have to set it up in a different position so it scans that, so you get an accurate mapping of the entire room, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So scanners are line of sight. So basically, if you want to look and see what you could scan, you pretend, I tell people I teach be the scanner, right? You look around. Whatever I can see, I would be able to capture as the laser scanner. If I want to look behind something or under a desk, I just move the scanner and then capture from a different angle, and then you are moving it around. And then you're basically, every time you scan, I teach that you're like, it's a piece of a quilt. And then every time you scan, it's another piece of a quilt. What the software does is it takes all those pieces of quilts and it stitches it together, and you create your giant three-dimensional, your throw, right? You have a patch and then you stitch them all together to create your throw.
There you go.
What's the most common use of this technology? Because we all going back to, I feel like because of TVs and movies, we see this a lot with crime scene investigation and stuff.
I just really want to scan my dog and then 3D print him.
But I imagine that tons of industry are using this technology for lots of things. We just know it from TV and movies, right?
So many industries use this technology. I am hard pressed to list an industry that does not use this.
I'll bet video games go crazy on this stuff, man.
Video games, a lot of the video games, when you play, fantasy football, some kind of football game, the sports stadium that you see has been laser scanned, and that's where they get that stadium that you see in the background of the sports game that you play.
I guess that's why the Dallas Stadium and the new Mercedes-Benz
accurate,
Atlanta, it looks so good that you can even see on the sides their charity organizations. That's how
scanned.
good that, it's like you can see like they're like, help the Boys and Girls Club of Chicago. And I'm like, wow, man.
It is 100% 3D scanned, but these are used in architecture, engineering. As buildings are constructed, they are laser scanned so that you can see when the foundation is being poured. We have a software that tells you if your foundation is flat, so that you have gaps. So we have a new application called like flatness check that tells you if you have gaps in the foundation.
So you guys are always trying to tweak and make little applications that add to the lasers and just make it better.
That's where it's at. It's not just the capture. It's not just in the hardware capture. It's the software that every industry really gets the value.
Right.
Because we're talking about, engineering, construction. The cost in a construction project comes from cutting a window and having to cut it twice, with the material, the expenses of these things.
Yeah.
So they don't want to, that whole measure twice, cut once. This is measurement. This is a measurement device. It's accurate to the millimeter with these laser scans. So huge in the architecture community, engineering, construction. When it comes to facility management, think about envisioning your world in 3D and all the things that you can do virtually without having to physically move. When you look at facilities, if you think I have this giant, think of the Orlando Science Center and you have an exhibit. Could I move this T-Rex? We want to move it into a different room. How do I move it virtually and decide if I have space for it without actually moving it? You do it in 3D.
Gotcha.
Oh,
and
man.
so
Now I'm just kind of the capabilities are just kind of unfolding
Endless.
now. Yeah.
Well, it's like this is how they put together like metaverse and things where they'll scan your house or rooms,
Yes.
and then it's like, well,
Can
now
I buy
you can,
one of these like
you can visit it
consumer
virtually.
grade, or like what are we talking money wise? I'm sure like some of the ones that you guys are using, you can't even give me a price on them because they're
Yeah.
one of a kind of.
No, anybody can buy them.
I want to scan. I want to scan everything. I'll just be scanning everything. You can do it with your phone. I know some guys have tried to tell me, since I am hobbying into 3D printing. They're like, get your phone and you can scan yourself and then you can 3D print yourself. It did not come out good. It's pretty poor.
Okay, then I gotta
Pretty
ask you,
poor.
where do you think we're going with this
There
technology?
you
Like,
go.
where's the future? Because I often think about this, like, even with the AI and chatbot and stuff. You start looking at what we're like, man, there's gonna. Not a lot of humans are going to be writing things.
Still no
like,
flying cars.
like this, and then where it's like AI will be doing a lot of this, and you start thinking about like with self-driving cars and self-driving trucks, and then you're like, man, there's not going to be a lot of jobs for humans to do because computers are going to be superior at it, robots and computers, and they're going to do it better than us.
But we
So
can
why
stand
even
around
do
and
it?
watch the robot.
So
That's what I plan on doing. I
Now-
stand and watch the robot do its thing, and I'm like, he's doing good.
That's logical to me, like a logical progression of technology where we'll get, but like with scanning, where can we be in like 50 years? So where will this technology be?
I don't think it's a matter of, taking away human jobs. It's never a matter of that. Even when it comes down to.
And by the way, everybody gets so mad about that. Who likes jobs?
Yeah. I want to stand around watching the robot.
Everybody on social media is complaining about work. This is the solution. No more work.
Look,
Anyway,
somebody's got to be a robot supervisor.
yeah, another robot. Sorry.
It's not a matter of taking human jobs. Somebody has to, even in my world of, fingerprints and everything, it's still not automated. Everybody has this, this idea that this computer program just spits out matches. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
it still comes down to human comparison in the end. There's a misconception when it comes to that. It's about the value add that technology makes to human life, to human existence. It's about making our lives easier. It's about that value add to
Saving
our
time,
our workflow, right? When it comes to law enforcement, it's officer safety issues. It's about
Right.
the change that we've seen in my time from when I was on crime scenes doing hand measurements. Do we want to see Alina on the side of the road looking down with a tape measure when I cannot physically watch my back? When I have cars driving past me or people driving through the crime scene tape? Or do I want to be able to set up a laser scanner on the side of the road and then put myself in a safer place when I can take my notes and when I can think about my crime scene? And that way, if some dangerous conditions occur, the worst case is that we lose a laser scanner, not a life.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Also, the human beings make mistakes. So, if I could imagine Detective Tom. I'm measuring something.
Wow,
and
you
I'm
made it all the way to. I could never see him making it all the way to detective. No offense. No, I feel like I would always be your superior, and you'd always be wanting
It's
the.
a small.
You didn't say captain.
Yeah.
It's a small town. They needed someone in there. Frank.
Oh,
had,
you're a small town detective.
Frank had to
They have
retire.
two. There's only two
Yeah.
detectives.
Well, you're also the one on the take.
I'm just saying, and not that much things happen, so it's
Yeah.
not like you need that really
I
qualified
assaulted
person.
an old lady down in the general square.
I'm just saying, I show up. I'm like, "Where's my measuring tape?" I lost it, and then I'm like, "I'll use my phone."
I'll just use my thumb. I think that's an answer.
yeah, and then I'm like, 5 1/8, what
Exactly.
half
Mississippi.
It's about the same, and then so you get flawed
100%.
information. Okay.
They're not precise, and there's human error, right? You're tired. They're not precise. When's the last time you had your tape measure calibrated? Are you rounding up? Are you holding it straight? A lot of departments use these wheels, right? That, you go down a ditch, you go around something, you go through a puddle, and your measurement, your error is stacking. You don't have that with a laser scanner. We're talking about accuracy to the millimeter.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy, man.
Um,
And people are going to get to see the T-Rex. People are going to get to
yes, yeah.
how can I maneuver the T? What can I do?
Exactly. So that's the beauty of the Science Center. That's the beauty of STEM. When I was growing up, I didn't really know that engineering existed as an option, especially for a female. We kind of gravitated towards, well, you're a dude and you can have these jobs, and you're a female and you can have these jobs. And I saw engineering, but I didn't know what it meant.
I thought it meant you drive a train.
For the longest time,
I don't look good in stripes. I just didn't think it was for me.
Did. And then I was like, you know what? I want to be an engineer. But when I found out that it was like science, I'm like, oh, I'm out of it.
I'm not shoveling the black stuff.
So we have to make it accessible to people. We have to have them be able to access it and understand what it is and have them think maybe that is for me. And then maybe I know what that is now. So like the Science Center is a way that people can touch science, understand what it means, and go, maybe that is for me.
It's
real. That's what engineering is for Faro. It's what science is to the Science Center. That's why this is a beautiful partnership. That's why we want to collaborate, and that's why when you head out to the Science Center, you get to see the T-Rex in person, and now you get to see 3D laser scans of this T-Rex. You get to rotate it around and not only see it in person, but see a virtual example of what it is.
Yeah, and this is like, all the jokes I make about how flawed humans are and the jury. Like, this is why, I want to expose my sons to science and engineering, like, just so they have a better grasp on it as they get older.
Well,
so
it's the greatest thing you can ever do. It may not be, but it's right up there for me as a dad of a 7-year-old daughter. There's nothing that I could ever do or, like, say to her that is more powerful than her seeing a woman doing a job that she might admire or want to do. I'm really important to her, but if she sees someone exactly like her doing a dream job of hers, I can't ever come close to that. I can tell her a lot of that. I tell her practice. She knows I've taught her that. She knows all about practice, and she's a dancer. I'm like, if you really practice hard, you'll do well. So she practices her ass off, and then she'll go and then show her teacher, and then her teacher will be like, wow, you've been practicing. And I'm like, oh my God, it works. See, there we go. But seeing someone like you or someone like Tracy, Dr. Tracy was in here last week. Seeing like real world women working at the highest level at like science jobs or tech jobs, I can't do that for her, and you guys can. So I just think it's awesome. I can't wait.
Also, like, I think there's because I have this misconception that you're not going to deal with as much like sexism or misogyny than other industries.
Could be worse.
But
I don't know.
because I'm like, well, there are scientists. They understand that there's no difference
They're
in
also
your
human.
brain, how
They're
your
human
brain. And in some cases, you could probably come to the logical conclusion that women are better at this. Like, at least I could. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, we've come to a lot of conclusions around here that our producer can handle things better than us.
Well, just in how we evolved, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, their brains might be better at this than men.
You never know.
But have you dealt with a lot of that in your career?
No, I think regardless, if you show up and you're competent, you're good at your job, and you prove that, the rest really doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
sure.
everybody's like, why would it make a
Get
difference?
to work.
So the last thing I want to talk about, just because, I try to explain this to my sons about how their memory is flawed, and going back to science and forensic scientists.
They're 7 and 8
your
or what?
dinner conversations are
What?
garbage.
I gotta start young,
man.
I think, because I'm like, how
They
you
barely have memories yet.
Good Lord,
Yeah,
you're
but
scaring them. You're like, your mind is flawed. Don't believe it.
the ones they have, I want to say, like,
Riddled with lies. What are you talking about?
Don't trust yourself.
the way you remember things may not be the reality. Like, and that's how our memories work, and our
true.
memories
Very
are flawed.
That
So
is
just
very
know
true.
that, so you don't think like this is exactly what happened. Just question it.
But it's been good for us, though, because, as storytellers, as people that conversationally improv for a living, the fact that our memories of our stories and our tales
what
are
we've
so...
said all lies.
And it changes all the time. Like, we'll tell the story one year, and then I'll go back and listen to it, and I'll be like, that never happened. But it doesn't matter. It's great for us.
Because if you tell someone, they're like, there's their witness.
That's why eyewitnesses aren't very
it's
reliable.
horrible.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even have them, honestly. Just knowing how the human brain works.
Laser scanners only.
This is all flawed. Like, this person remembering us and telling us is nothing. It's like remembering a dream. Why are you telling this nonsense?
Oh, I had a terrible dream once.
It's just like, it doesn't, you can't be trusted. Even though, yes, I know you 100% believe it, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
Yes.
So does that frustrate you when people can't comprehend that their memory may be flawed? Because the people get they're like,
mad.
this is the way it happened. I saw
I'm
it.
through that now, though. Now my wife will be, that never happened. I'll be like, okay. I'm totally through that part.
Thank you for admitting
Yeah,
and
okay.
understanding that is the way that works.
Acceptance.
But your brain very badly wants to be right. It's a form of bias, and I speak about this a lot. But there's a lot of bias, and we want to be right. So our brains will look for evidence to support the fact that we are right. It will ignore evidence that we are wrong. And we also, every time we tell a story, it then solidifies in our brain that it is accurate.
Yes.
So the more you tell a story, whether it is factual or not, it then becomes truth.
And our brains evolved like this, and there was probably some evolutionary psychology that helped to keep us alive back when we were living in
I'm thinking it
on
would
the
have
land
helped.
or whatever.
It's almost like there's no sense dwelling. Run, like.
Well,
because it was.
yeah.
I don't know what was happening then, but I just imagine you were running from dangers
Well,
at a lot of.
I think I read somewhere where we evolved like that because you are better off not investigating a rustle in the bushes and just
keep
assuming
moving.
that it's a tiger going to kill you, because those are the people that survived and passed those genes along. And then if you investigate, like, is that a tiger? I don't know. You're dead, and then your genes don't pass. So anybody who just believed whatever is like rustling in the bushes, tiger, run.
Oh, yeah.
They all lived, and therefore we all have flawed memories because we evolved like that. Is that kind of true?
Yeah, I mean, that tracks. But, it's a dangerous assumption to make when it comes to, obviously if we're talking about like court proceedings or something and assuming somebody's guilt or innocence, if you look at taking that as the same weight as scientific evidence,
Then that's a dangerous game.
that is a slippery slope. Now we're
sure.
talking more proof towards the algorithm of, do we just have an algorithm that decides guilt or innocence versus
The computer.
Well, the movie will be coming out
knew
soon,
you were in
right?
on it.
I mean, we already got the movie with the robot girl. What's that? Megan?
And even if
Oh my
I
God,
was,
that looks terrifying.
even if I was innocent and the computer found me guilty, I was like, it must be right.
Yeah, you look like you're through
I
excited.
must have forgot I did it.
You're at the acceptance
I
stage.
must have told myself I was innocent, but the computer knows.
Yeah, it knows. That's hilarious.
So anyway, thanks so much for coming by.
we
really appreciate
we
it.
can't thank you enough. Jeff, thank you guys so
Yes,
much for
thank you.
coming in.
Glad to be here.
Is there anything we're missing that we need to tell people to make their
About
experience
STEM or-
better?
Yeah. I just want to say that, Alina is one of the amazing scientists that we'll be spotlighting at Spark STEM Fest. And
You
that's,
stacked the deck, man. Did
Oh.
you just get all like super top tier celebrity scientists?
This is like,
holy moly.
yeah, it's like the greatest hits. It's,
You really did a good
Spark,
job.
Thank you. Spark STEM Fest is going to be awesome. It's going to pack Orlando Science Center.
I love it.
Something new every day, worth checking out. But get to see cool science, meet cool people, and understand that scientists are more than folks in lab coats. That there are a lot of cool STEM careers out there, and you'll get to see how STEM impacts your life, and you'll get to understand how things work, because we're going to have a lot of cool demonstrations and displays. So definitely worth your time to come out and check it out. And I just want to say thank you guys for being so supportive of Orlando
Oh, man.
Science
Yeah,
Center.
no problem.
Our pleasure. I got to hear about STEM at breakfast this morning because my daughter said her STEM teacher's out, and she was mad because STEM's where it's at.
Sorry, I got one more thing. Is this technology getting more consumer grade where this is going to end up being on our smartphone one day, where we just put our smartphone in the middle of the room and
Well,
scan?
I'll go back to mine. I finished it, and I did scan myself, and it wasn't great, but it
beginning of
it
the-
was
yeah.
the beginning of something for sure.
I will tell you this. Faro manufactures a ton of different devices, from anything from our terrestrial laser scanners to handheld laser scanners to, we have a device called an arm, to a tracker. We have every type of thing for every type of industry, from the millimeter to the micron, in terms of what your accuracy need is. So we support anything from the Daniel that wants to scan at home to NASA that needs to scan for our space industry.
Oh, I got another question now. Sorry. See, I told you it's going to happen, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, can you guys custom build, or is this a problem where you have to scan something, but the area is so specific that you have to make the scanner a certain size to get it in there, or is there ways around that? But are you saying literally anything can be scanned?
Anything can be scanned, and our profile has something for every single industry.
That's crazy. I'm just thinking now the applications of you guys thinking about, well, we need a flexible scanner. We need a bendable scanner. We need the lasers to be able to go here. We need the lasers to be able to go there. But yes, they absolutely can do that because they're lasers.
So this will blow your mind. If you have somewhere that needs to be scanned that you can't physically get the scanner into, that's why we have something called the laser tracker. So the tracker actually sits on the ground, and then you hold the mirror in your hand. You hold the mirror in your hand on what needs to be scanned, and then the laser shoots to the mirror. So if the laser can't...
Like a semaphore, oh, that's nuts.
So that's for like the wing of an aircraft, where you don't want to get the laser to that. So then you just hold it here, and then you just have a handheld device, and you click when you need to get measured. We've scanned
That's cool.
mummies, back to like the Science Center. So if you can't physically touch what you want to scan, and it would be disruptive to that, and you don't want to touch it. We've got ways to contact scan if you need to touch, or we have ways to non-contact scan so that it doesn't disrupt that, so that we can preserve history in a non-disruptive, method.
Also, the way you explain it doesn't sound that complicated. It's like this is neat. This is really, really cool, man.
When we were talking about releasing technology to the general public, I immediately thought,
voted against that, by the way.
Well,
I
I
said
immediately
no
thought
technology to the general public.
I remember in the late 90s or 90s when laser pointers came out, and then immediately, as soon as they became cheap enough for the public to buy, there was all these please do not point the lasers at pilots' eyes landing. And I'm like, your immediately thought was to point the laser at a pilot's eye?
So you'll know the time is right when they're saying, please do not scan our pilots as they're taking off. Okay, now
no
they're
visible lasers.
And then it was just warnings about not to shoot the laser at LeBron James' eyes while he's playing. Humanity just wanted to point lasers at eyes.
They're not even used anymore. They're burned hot. We went to cats.
Yeah,
we did that for a minute. Then we did it into the eyeballs. And then we're like, we're done with it. All done.
I would just like to state that you can scan planes, pilots, LeBron James, and cats with all Faro products.
Faro lasers, no visible lasers.
Yes, it's awesome. Well, again,
that was so fun.
Spark STEM Fest this weekend. Go check it out, Orlando Science Center. And if you're not a member, just get your membership. Bring your kids.
That's really the easiest thing to do is to just get your membership and then enjoy the time, and then you'll come back some other time and enjoy everything else that's there.
Yeah, get a full year of science fun for that one low price for the whole family.
I like that.
Hashtag science.
I like that.
Yeah, 100%. We definitely have to have you in as a guest again to talk.
I already gave some info to Sam. We're definitely going to line that up. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much with your cavalcade of superstars, man. Let's keep it going. This is great.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We will see you Monday.
Yeah, see you Monday. All right. All done, y'all. Is that our last thing today?
That's all.
No.
We have Cavender coming in.
Oh, yeah, we got Cavender. Guys, please hold while we do a scene change. Hold on.
More manly than a big old dick.
Dumbest idea we've ever had. All right, remix that. we're back, everybody. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It happens. I just hate it when we're sitting here and I don't like... Hey, for some reason it feels rude to me to leave us on Twitch while we're just having casual talk with our guests. Yeah, I don't know. It feels rude.
The group chats without us. It's fine.
But I don't want them to feel like... I want them to be constantly aware that they're being recorded, and I don't want them to slip out of, like...
One person slips up something, and then I'm like, it can't be unheard.
I was like, we can't put it...
No,
you can't put it back in the bottle.
Chat will
go
on without us while we
because
mute ourselves. Yeah.
I do like leaving the mics on and just and so people see,
for us it's fine, yeah.
But I would feel real bad if someone said something
they weren't supposed to say it.
Yeah, even though they forgot, and like even though we told them like, hey, it's being recorded.
Talk into your microphone.
Hello. I don't have my headphones on.
Oh, okay, that's why. No, something was. I'm gonna get mad at this thing. It ain't.
So we are gonna move what we already recorded for Monday then. What are you thinking?
I think that that's smarter. Just move it to March 20th. We'll literally just have to change.
I'm just gonna let Sam tell me what to change,
and then that way we can load some of this stuff this week to Monday instead of having to, because next week we have a lot of stuff that has to be played that week, and we're gonna be so far ahead, and we're gonna be struggling to fit everything in. I think.
So do you want to put Cavender on Monday?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
I think we can put him for Monday 3.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, what's going on, dude?
You said his name and he walked in the door.
How you doing, man?
Good to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you in person. I appreciate it.
Man. What's up, man? Come on in. Come on in. Cavender Daniel, nice to meet you, man. Pleasure. We're going to put you right here.
It's Sam.
Hey.
Get you all set up, man. We're coming in hot. As soon as you walk in the door, we can put you right in the seat.
It, dude. I'm ready.
Can I give you a compliment? Sure. You look exactly like I thought you would look.
I'm a golf guy, man.
Yeah, you look like a Cavender, right?
That's right.
Like a good-looking golf dude.
I appreciate it.
If you'd come in and not been a good-looking golf dude, I'd have been upset, I feel like, a little bit.
Like, what are we doing with this
Yeah, I'd be
tournament?
like, who the hell is this guy? He said he
What?
listens to the show. This is not a golf dude.
This is terrible.
Very nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, man. I'm
God,
excited.
the setup for that is an incredible... Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Tom will yell at me for I'm chirping you too much
Oh,
before
you're
we
good,
even
man.
interview you.
I might grab
Do you need a drink?
I
Yeah,
might
please.
grab a water real quick.
Yeah, let me get you. We don't have any.
We got to get some goddamn water
that's fine.
tomorrow.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
We have RO from Guardian. So
Sweet.
It's the same thing. It's just in a glass.
that's fine.
All right. Should I put it in a novelty glass, Sam?
Sure.
So he can complain and Tom can say I embarrassed him in front of our guests? Look at this. Served in
Nice.
a Ryan
That's
Kugel
awesome.
Shandy glass.
That's awesome.
There you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tom is going to complain about that. We don't have any other cups.
That's good.
I gave my other cup to
What
our
happened
other
to all
guests.
our cups?
We don't wash them. I washed them once, and then I was like, I don't drink out of cups. I'm not going to wash these. I drink out of tiny Diet Coke can. He's got me on Diet Coke now.
Nice.
I can't get off the Diet Coke.
I like it.
I figured you could complain. He asked for water. We don't have any. So I gave him still water in a Leinen Kugel Shandy glass. I figured you could yell at me.
Fantastic.
Between our bathroom and our not having water, we're terrible for guests.
We had the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
guests ever and the highest profile guests we've ever had. We got a good-looking golf guy here.
We weren't prepared.
Yeah. All of our guests have been attractive lately.
Yeah.
What's going on?
When our guests are BDM, I feel relaxed. I'm
Yeah.
like, they know how bad we are.
Cavender knows. I didn't feel
Cavender-
bad either, but I thought you might be like, don't put it in the shandy.
Well, what about the scientists?
Well,
No,
they're horribly
Yeah.
disgusted by it.
Oh, my
Thank
God.
God she didn't go in the bathroom.
Yeah, she didn't laugh at any of my jokes.
Oh, yeah. I got to
She's
wipe
serious.
the
She's
poo
a
off.
serious lady. Oh, I couldn't even find it on all my glasses. I was like, where's the
there.
poop?
Oh,
Can't
it's
see
there.
it.
Glasses full in the toilet.
If you can't see it, it's not there. Tom told me that. He's
true.
teaching me his ways, and I'm a student. I'm like Harry Potter. We're warming up again.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, dude.
All right, Cavender. Do you want to
at
wear
it.
those? You don't have to. If you want to, you can. Do you have dogs on your socks?
Yeah, that's my dog.
Oh, my God. That's so cute.
So Cavender, do you mind if we play this on Monday?
Play it anytime you want, yeah.
Because I know, obviously, the tournament's not till March first.
Why'd you get all sad? Why are you talking like
No,
that?
no, no.
Okay.
I got
Hey,
it.
Cavender, it's me, Tom.
I got it.
I want you to be my new best friend because, we're both like good-looking golf dudes now. All right, you ready, buddy?
Yeah, I might keep these on the ground if that's all right.
Yeah, you're fine. That's totally fine. All right, Mr. Van, would you like to start?
Yeah, hold on, my paperwork.
You got your paperwork?
I wrote some stuff down.
All right.
Hold on. I left it.
Get your notes, Grandpa.
You're being rude to our guest.
No.
No, we're screwing around now. Norm said you have an interesting name. Yeah, that coming from a guy whose name is Norm. Yeah, of course. Any name is interesting compared to your dumb name, Norm.
All I wrote down is Arnold Palmer Invitational.
God damn it.
But I did write down 12 million and forgot why. Hey, Cavender could tell me.
I can tell you.
Okay. Okay, he knows. That's
He
why
knows, baby. Why are you saying it like a wizard? He knows.
He knows it all.
He knows, man.
Oh.
You're Phil Rollins almost. You're right. You're right. All right, you want to start?
Yeah.
3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So
We've hit that point of the day where we've recorded too much, and now we're getting stupid.
So, okay, here's the reality of how this works. So, throughout,
What's happening?
What are you talking
okay,
about?
I'll explain and before we introduce our guest.
All right.
Okay, so throughout our entire time of running this small business, which
Yeah.
is T&D Media,
Small
right?
little broadcasting company. We're a
And-
tiny little independent broadcasting company.
It's bizarre, in which I don't even know anybody else.
No.
Uh,
And we're doing it without a radio station, which is really weird. Most little versions of what we're doing are tiny radio stations.
well, this is on the radio now, but
No,
I
I
guess
know,
without the
but-
backing, they don't even talk to us.
Yeah, they don't talk to. Oh my God.
Uh,
I haven't talked to Jack in 7 years, I feel like.
So it's always been the case where when we do anything cool, it's always because a BDM is internal in that organization, and then is
We got
the
a man
one
on
that
the inside.
is the one that suggests it. It's throughout everything. I mean, relationship, any cool relationships we ever had is because there's an internal BDM that's like, hey, I think this will work with you guys, and then it does, and then it works awesomely because our BDMs are great, our listeners are awesome, and but when I try to explain or pitch something to a company that has no internal BDMs, they are like, yeah, right, because and you know who
They don't
wrote
get it. They
I don't
don't
even blame
understand
them. I don't blame them.
I thought you were going to say I don't even blame them. And I was like, that's on brand.
I blame the marketing people for all other big media that have sold them so much BS.
Well, they lied to them and told them
Yeah.
they could give them anything, and they can't.
They don't believe it anymore. So then when I try to give them my BS, they're like, yeah, right. We heard this one before. Get out of here.
You ruined it for everybody.
And then I'm like, please believe me. It works. I promise.
I hope you don't say that. Did you say that to our guest? Was he begging you on the phone? Like, please,
No, there was no begging.
give us a chance. Give us a chance.
There was nothing like that because Cavender's a BDM.
Yeah.
And he already knew.
Yeah.
And it was a very easy meeting. And
Who?
Cavender, our next guest. How you doing, Cavender?
I'm doing great, man. That's quite the intro.
So Cavender
It's all over the place. Intro.
is the reason behind why we have this relationship and why
Is
we're
this
doing
the
this
man
promotion.
you're leaving your wife for?
No, with the Arnold Palmer Invitational and the golf tournament coming up.
It's so man. Listen, I haven't been to Bay Hill in a long time, man.
And we're gonna be out there on Thursday.
Oh,
but,
I cannot wait.
We have been promoting.
I already
this-
got my loudmouth pants out. And I already put a crease in them.
Dude, this guy knows the deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my dead dad's golf shoes. It's gonna be a party.
When Cavender explained to me, is like, hey, I want to promote the White Claw fan deck, which is this awesome, deck with chairs, and there's a food truck and your own bar and AC bathrooms, and then the golfers will be walking through.
so awesome.
And for your listeners, I'm going to give you a special so that your listeners get a good percentage off.
Get some money off, but better stuff.
Where you look at it, you're like, well, why wouldn't I do this? It's like $20 more in general admission, and you get the bathrooms, the bar, the food truck, the golfers walking through there.
And people knew about this. Like I had listeners go, like, "Is it in the same spot that it's always been?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. Because
That's like a thing.
And then we have BDMs that were there last year at the White Claw fan deck, and we're like, "Oh, I'm buying tickets through your link, which is at tomandan.com right now. Get your tickets because a lot of BDMs have use the promo code.
I'd love to see a lot of BDMs out there, man. It would be awesome.
And you got to buy it through our link to get the discount. So anyway, sorry, Cavender. I know I do a lot of talking here.
No, it's great.
BDM
why I'm here.
Cavender, he's on the inside.
I wanted to thank you for even thinking of us because this is a cool promotion. And a lot of people, a lot of our listeners are like, oh, that's awesome. You're working with such a huge golf tournament in town.
Some say the biggest, one of the biggest.
So,
I mean, it's the biggest in town.
So let's talk about that. So give us an idea about like the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
I can't say that. I'm glad you're taking it.
And
Arnold Palmer Invitational.
And
Hey,
then
there we
how
go.
big this is in the golf world for those people who may not know.
Yeah, so because I'm the marketing guy, Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You gotta say
I
presented
gotta
by
get that in there.
MasterCard.
Yeah,
Yes.
But it is one of the premier events on the PGA Tour, and I heard you mention $12 million. Last year, our purse was $12 million. This year, it's $20 million.
Wow.
And we've got an unprecedented commitment from some of the top players in the world. So every big name, I mean, I can think of Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Hideki Matsuyama, Colin Morikawa. I mean, just top of the heap in terms of names. And it's been an annual event that we've held at Arnold Palmer's Bay Hill Club and Lodge every year since 1979. And it is truly an event that you need to see to believe.
Yeah.
So give me an idea. I've never been to a golf tournament. This is going to be my first time, and we're all going as a show.
Gotta have shoes on.
Well, speaking of that, we were talking about
I was
how
going to
dress.
ask what to wear,
Yeah. And I was gonna wear my standard uniform now.
Yeah.
Which is,
You've been wearing he's been wearing shoes every day this week.
Yeah, but they're
amazing.
always untied, so
Well, it's like baby steps.
I'm not
man.
used
Baby
to
steps.
laces.
Yeah.
get some Velcro.
I'm gonna get him
I'm not-
those. Remember in the
Sperry's?
90s? Well,
Special
Slip-ons.
Cavender doesn't remember the 90s, but in the 90s you had those elastic twisties,
Oh,
and it
you
just
do.
holds your. It's like.
That's for babies.
Well,
I'm a
you
grown
know,
man.
Hey, when in Rome.
I'm 41 today.
Hey,
Hey,
God.
it's his
happy
birthday today.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Velcro straps.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cavender. You want to
Cavender
go
got
to
yourself-
birthday lunch?
That would be
You
weird.
can talk golf.
Yeah, you want to talk golf with an old man? You ever been to lunch with an old man?
that doesn't know
Oh,
anything
he's
about
gotta
golf.
be near my age.
You ever
There's
been to-
no way.
No. Cavender
I don't even know if he's old enough to drink.
Yeah, I think Cavender's 26.
No.
26?
He looks young for his age.
30. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Whoa.
That's about
Yeah.
the same
Like
as me.
for a second when you
About
walked
me
in,
at all.
for a split
Totally
second,
different generation.
when you walked in, I had my glasses. I thought Butler was back, and I almost tackled you and hit you with a baseball bat.
Well, we're both millennials, right? Is that how it works? I don't know.
No.
Are you a millennial? I thought you were Generation Z.
No,
I thought you were a Gen Z.
82. That's
80, okay.
technically a millennial, even though
Oh my God,
millennials
I
don't
feel
want
like-
anything
I
to
feel
do
like
with
that's
it. Somehow I'm mad at millennials. At least that's what I've been told on the
You're
internet.
not one of them.
Anyway, so let's talk about the fan deck because this was around for a little while, but we're kind of getting the word out like, hey, if you're going to go and watch, this is a cool place to be, right?
Yeah, so I mean, with the fan deck, so 2 years ago, that area was our TV compound, which is unusual for golf tournaments. Usually that's hidden way back in the back and nobody ever sees it. This was located right in the heart of the stretch. And so last year we were able to change that and make it the White Claw fan deck. And then we heard all the feedback after the debut year and listened to it and changed it. And so this year is back and better than ever. And I think the incredible thing about a golf tournament that I missed earlier is that throughout the entire 18 holes, you are part of the playing field, right? There are ropes that separate you from the fairway, but there's nothing keeping those golfers from hitting it outside the ropes. And I don't know any other sport where you are literally part of the field. And a golfer can hit it right in front of you, and you move, and then they hit it from where you were standing.
That's dope.
And
yeah.
I mean, the first time I went to a PGA Tour event, a big one, I saw Tiger Woods a foot away from me, and it changed my life. And I don't know that would have made the same impact if I was in row 17. You know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Seeing someone that famous will take your breath away because it
Yeah.
doesn't seem real. You're like, whoa. This person is so famous that I can't believe he's a real human standing in front of me. Like, it's a weird psychological thing. I don't know what that is.
One time Shakira was coming out of the Clear Channel bathroom. I believe she pooped, and I was taken away.
You know what? Maybe I regret this.
Well, it's too late.
Too late. You knew what you were signing up
The
for.
same thing happened when I saw Beetlejuice when the doors opened at the radio station. I'm like, whoa, Beetlejuice. my mind.
Yeah.
You know,
So
from Howard Stern,
Shakira,
not the
Beetlejuice,
actual.
you got Tiger Woods. Who you got, Sam? Anybody take your breath away? I got Shakira pooping,
No.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, I saw Don Shula and it blew my shoes off too.
Yeah,
Like
you
that.
almost cried in front of Don Shula. That's a true story.
I'm like,
it's the closest
Shula?
I've ever seen you coming to crying without anything involved with his sons. Shula, and you couldn't even talk. You didn't even want to go in there and talk to him. You were like nervous.
By the way, what would happen? What are the rules if they hit the ball out of bounds and it hits a person, right? And
Why
then
are you talking about the negative stuff in
no,
front of Cap?
no. Well, I'm saying, and then out of anger, the person like it falls on the ground and then he kicks the ball.
Oh, you grab it, you throw it into
Right.
the lake.
Like, is it where he kicked the ball then? Is where it lies, or is it like, oh, this was this person, it was supposed to be there and he interfered, so it's there. How does that work?
Part 2.
Okay.
They would play it where it lies. Now, out of bounds is a whole different deal. So if it was out of bounds, they'd have to replay it from where they hit it originally. But outside of the ropes, if it hit somebody, they got mad, threw it in the street, you would put it back where it was.
Gotcha. So it's where it actually
What if
with,
it hits an animal and do you put it where it hit the animal, or do you put it where the animal it bounced off the animal?
You would put it where it bounced off the animal.
I knew
So
that.
wherever
I
it
knew the
stops,
answer to
yeah,
that
that's
when I
right.
asked. Yeah, because it's not a person. It's a something that would naturally be there.
I always like it when it does land on a deck or some sort of
Yes.
viewing area,
Yeah,
and
hitting
then
it off a gas grill.
and
or-
then the crowd has to make a part ways,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the golfer has to come there, and then
and he's sad. He's
yeah,
sad.
it's like
'cause he
hitting
did
it off a
bad.
napkin or
Yeah.
something. I like.
You know what
that.
I like? I like when they're on the green and the dude walks up and he's brushing and picking stuff that's not even there. I like that. There's nothing there.
That's part of being a pro
It
golfer.
is. I feel like it's part of the. It's what do you call it? Like your pomp and circumstance,
the
your
je ne sais
ritual.
quoi, right.
Yeah, your
Yeah, yeah.
rituals. Because like I took a big class in college about like sports. I took a whole class on sports rituals. And yeah, a lot of those golfers, if you watch them, you'll see little things that they're doing for absolutely no reason other than to just make themselves feel comfortable,
Yeah.
which I think is so cool because it's all a head game, man.
Yeah, it's all the pre-shot routine, post-shot routine.
What's
I
the
mean,
craziest thing you've ever seen out there that's, within reason? I mean, I'm sure you've seen some stuff. I'm not talking about guys getting tased because they're drinking. I'm talking about, like, what's the craziest thing you've seen, like, shot-wise maybe, or...
I mean, I've seen a lot of amazing shots.
You ever seen a hole-in-one by a famous, like, golfer?
I have. I've seen hole-in-ones at some of the most famous holes in golf, but that's what's amazing to me.
Do people just go, God, do they just lose their minds?
People go insane, and what's
Yeah.
great about it is that you can tell when a moment is significant, right? And that's one of the great things about being at a golf tournament is that you can feel the intensity when you're just there, right? These guys are competing for 4 days for something that really matters to them,
Yeah.
and that energy is palpable. So when you see, I've seen Tiger hit shots, I've seen Rory hit shots where you cannot believe how good these guys are. And you're talking about like feeling blown away when you see Don Shula. When you see Rory McIlroy hit a drive, you're going to be amazed.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely one of those things. It is very hard to put into words.
It's like when me and Daniel were working with Orlando City, and when you see someone like from the field kick a soccer ball,
Right.
it blows. You're like, I didn't think that was possible because on TV when you're watching it, or even far away on the stands, it doesn't even
it
come
doesn't look
close
real.
to seeing it close up, and you're like, whoa! I did not think you could kick a ball that far or that
Right.
fast or
Yeah.
or curve it. Like, so when you see someone hit a golf ball and they're at that level, it's almost fake.
Also, when you're
doesn't even
close
seem real.
enough, I've never been to. I certainly haven't been to this particular tournament, and that's why I'm so excited about it. But I have seen lower level pros hit a ball, and one of the things, if you're not ready for it, if people haven't seen this, when you're standing really close and you see a pro golfer drive, it's a little different than like the noise is loud. You can tell it's a pro. Is my point.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like me hitting a drive. It doesn't even sound like Jimmy hitting a drive. When a pro hits a drive and you hear it, you're like, holy crap, and you can tell.
Also, it's like they're hitting it, and depending on how famous they are, there's a line of humanity,
Right, a sea of people.
They're like 20 yards past where you hit it. Like, so, like, not only that, there's 100 people around you watching, and then a line of humanity, and then you, with all that pressure, you could still hit it perfectly. Like, even because, like, hey, if I'm a little bit off, I'm gonna nail this granny that's 13 yards from me. I'm gonna hit her with 180
But if I
golf
am off, I say hit the ground, right? Because it's gonna make me feel
ball.
better.
It's crazy that they can hit under that much pressure.
Another thing that I like about golf, because Andrea and I do watch a lot of golf, because Maisie took some golf classes. I know your boys go to golf classes. It's fun.
I was there yesterday.
And I like to listen, and I like when a pro is lining up like a super important shot, and you hear you hear the gallery and everything quiet down.
Yeah.
and it gets real quiet. And then you hear one guy go, "Come on, Dan!" I always like that one guy that's like he's like, I gotta say something. I love that guy, and I feel like a little cool for him, and a little bit like, oh, why'd you do that? You know, like it's a
go get him, security.
I don't know what it is.
He said some words, and everybody's supposed to be quiet. Speaking of that, what was that tournament that guy was running? I saw it on TikTok. Where he was running
everything from TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
No.
What?
Yes, there's hope for the world.
Are you talking about the Phoenix Open?
Yeah, where the old 19th
Yeah, you know what? He read that on AP News. He
was there.
Yeah, he probably was.
By the way, when you are, like, I guess they'd be considered like a streaker, even though that you're not running nude, but they do have like some sort of like banana hammock on or like diaper. Yeah,
I feel like that's just pussing out a little bit.
Although
man.
I do laugh at the 19th hole and the arrow pointing at your butt. When I saw that, I was like,
brought up
I'm
my
about to be
kryptonite.
41.
I love a good 19th hole.
Yeah, but you should. Okay, you run out there, people cheer, but I didn't like how long he took it because, like, you should be all right. You run out.
It's a one and done quick. It's a quick in, quick out.
This guy's a marathon.
This guy's running around. Then he's out there on the floating.
It became like okay.
Yeah. By the way, I'm fine with the police. Firing at him.
Once he's going up for 2 minutes, I feel like you can all pull your revolvers and let's get back to golf.
Yeah, or at least like a beanbag shotgun or whatever. Like at this point, when he's
tell all the golfers to just start whacking balls at him as hard as you can. Yeah. All right, boy, get him, boys.
Yeah. Like I'm sure.
You mean to tell me old Big Fat Daly wouldn't get out there and whack one at that guy, knock him off the pontoon?
I watched that. Like he's on the floating eye for the international, and then like just people pelting him with golf balls. So I'm sure within the industry, everybody talks about that. Is that true, or they're just like this happens every once in a while?
Yeah, I mean, look, every event has their calling cards, right? Ours is not that. So
gotcha. Yeah.
You know,
It's a nice way of saying shut up, Tom. That's what I heard.
Don't bring it up. Well, I feel like
what are you doing, you idiot?
That's not giving anybody an idea. like the people who do that are known for that.
He just nicely said that's not our vibe.
No, I'm just saying, like that guy was known for that. He's been doing it for years. He goes, they arrest him. You go to jail for a long time.
A lot of famous people come to this event, right?
I mean, the golfers themselves are pretty famous.
Do you get to meet, though, anybody? Like, do you get to meet any, like, celebrities that are running around there? I mean, you're in marketing, so I would imagine. I mean, other than me and Tom. It's got to be a pretty big deal for you to be in here.
This is a big deal.
I see you sweating a little bit. I can tell you it's either because our Nest thermostat is horribly malfunctioning or because you're very nervous because we are two of radio's heaviest hitters.
I forgot to tell you guys, we're getting media credentials at the same end. There's not even like the things are crossed off like these are just the
they're not giving us the Predators used to give us the schlub passes. And what I mean by that,
don't let them near the field.
Don't let them on the field. Just give them the ones so they can roam around backstage and don't let them eat any food.
Yeah, we get full media credentials, so we're it's gonna be.
I'm gonna be in my loudmouth, full suit.
Oh, yeah. How should we dress? Is there a dress code of some sort? I mean, should I wear
shoes?
No, I know shoes. I know I'm not a.
No, I was asking. Yeah.
No. I mean, but do I wear?
Did you say I'm not an adult clown?
No, well, that and I said yokel, which means the same thing. But
Yeah, I mean, look. So you get the full range of people wearing whatever they want, but I think the fun part is dress boldly. I think people like to wear bright polos, bright shorts, bright shirts. But I mean, you can wear a t-shirt and shorts. You can wear a t-shirt.
Don't tell him that. Oh
pants.
my God,
Yeah,
you'll be out
I'm
there.
not gonna wear a collar.
He used to have this shirt that said like "Vacation State of Mind."
I wet my plants.
No,
a pair of 4-inch dad dukes.
I think the most important thing is comfortable shoes. Because, like you're saying, if you buy a White Claw Fan Deck ticket, you have access to the entire tournament for the entire day. So you can walk all 18 holes if you want to and then camp out at the White Claw Fan Deck in the afternoon. Or you can spend your day there in the morning and walk with the group in the afternoon. So as long as you're comfortable.
I'm wearing my biggest shoulder pad suit.
The
purple suit?
I like that.
No, not the
You're going to be dressed like MC Scat Cat.
I think your credential picture is you in a suit. So
don't use that.
Oh my God! Use the purple.
Why'd you do that to me, Captain? Is everyone just clown me? Hey, this guy.
Did you just call him Clown Clavicle.
I could have gone bear
Why'd you
suit.
do that to me, Clavicle?
I
no.
was up there, like the security guard's like, I don't
Yeah,
pose
yeah.
like the clown
All
I see in
right,
the picture.
who do we got? We got Dan and Sam and the mask. That is embarrassing.
Does any day particularly matter? Like, I know if you go to tomanddan.com and you click on the Arnold Palmer Invitational link,
Can't miss it.
that's where you can buy your tickets. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Right. Is there any day? And we're gonna be out that Thursday. We're gonna do a little ACT segment on the White Claw fan
we're
deck.
gonna go out there right on the deck.
Which, by the way, there's chairs on the deck, correct?
Yeah. Yep. So you got two sections basically. You got the section that looks at 15 green, and that is a covered area that looks over that hole. And then on the 16th side, it's uncovered, but there's chairs there and bar rails, and that's where the player walk is. And we're envisioning that like the best seat at the bar, right? You get that spot, you don't want to leave it all day because the best players are going to be walking right by you.
Oh my God! So theoretically, you can stand there, sip a cold drink, and just watch some of your golfing heroes stroll through.
That's absolutely right.
My God, man, I cannot wait for this, dude.
So, is there any particular day? Because how these tournaments are run, they like
Why don't
all the
he
golfers.
knows how they're run?
I was going to explain it to you.
Okay, please do. Yeah, I don't know if you know
Cavender. this,
Cavender, but the way
Yeah.
these golf tournaments are
You want me
run,
to
it's very
explain what a
complicated.
shotgun start is? I know. There's not one day that's better than others, right?
No, I mean, everybody has their preference. Some people prefer practice rounds because it's quiet and they can walk around and enjoy the beauty that's there. But Thursday and Friday, you have a full field. So you have 120 players who play all day. And then after 36 holes, after Thursday and Friday, they make a cut to the low 70 in ties. And so those guys, and Thursday, Friday, they'll go off in threesomes off of both tees. And Saturday, Sunday, they go off of twosomes in the first hole. So they'll go play all day. So there's more golfers Thursday, Friday, but the same amount of golf is being played.
Okay.
You can't tell us twosomes or threesomes and holes.
Yeah, you can't do that. My God, you're choking up. You see what he did? Really, when you said threesome, that was me
Oh, I
laughing.
ruined it already. They'll never be back.
Yeah, he'll never be back. I can feel it. Cavender's already cleaning up his stuff. He's gathering all his pamphlets. He's like, well,
Yeah, I'm not going to show my bosses this.
well, this goes right in the old trash can.
Listen, but if you buy your tickets, then they
Yeah,
maybe
then they'll forgive us.
They'll be like, all right, one more year.
a pity buy.
And again, you got to get them through our link at tomanddan.com, and then it's all ages too. So if you wanted to bring your kids, if your kids like golf, I know, it's probably a lot of people like me that taught their kids how to play
What are you doing
golf.
with crying babies, though?
Well, don't bring a baby.
People bring, no, that's right. People bring
I
babies
think-
everywhere, man.
I think kids like 8, 9, 10
people
years
bring,
old.
apparently you haven't been in the world because
No.
people bring their babies everywhere.
Yep.
Baby will still have blood on it. The lady will be running around
No,
showbiz.
come on, they're not bringing their babies to this.
I swear to God, if I see a baby.
Bring
Oh,
your
you'll see
kids
a
that they
baby.
appreciate golf, and they want to be there. And
Well,
they'll
like I
watch.
always think of like our good friend Detective Barb's son.
Yeah.
He's he's extremely good at golf.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's
yeah.
getting there, and he's got the bug where he will like only do golf. Like it's the first thing when he wakes up in the morning. It's golf on the TV, like a golf
Yeah,
channel.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a golf video game. The golf. I think it's pretty neat, man. I mean, that's definitely a sport where I like it because you're in control of it, and if you
Right.
want to practice it. Go practice it. You don't need to wait for your teammates to show up or anything like that. I mean, yeah, you might need, it could be expensive for clubs and stuff like that, but once you got some gear, if you want to go practice, and you got a buddy with some land, go practice.
Well, let's talk golf for a second, Cavender. You play golf, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Did you play it from a young age?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so because
I bet his dad played with him. You need to play with your sons.
we pay for lessons that like a teacher teaches our sons, but there's a group of them, and then he's all about like
and you sit in the truck and you gamble.
I sit in the truck and I
you,
watch,
and you're mad.
and
Watching.
I'm
You sit
watching
in the
Tommy
AC
and Max,
yeah.
and then I noticed that the teacher is not like their stance is all wrong. Their swing is sloppy. They're not,
Well, they're 7 and 8, man.
and then I start wandering over there, and then I start giving them my
Don't be
patterns.
that guy,
and he does
dude.
this move where he like puts his hand in front. He's like, "I'll take it from here."
Yeah, and then the
He's
instructor
always
This
that
is
dude, Sam.
embarrassing.
You know that.
and the instructor is telling me like,
Then
well,
why are you paying for this instructor? if
well,
they're not-
that's what I screamed in my truck.
Well, then just teach him at home.
Well, they hate being taught by me, and then
Kevin just put his head down.
And then,
I've never seen
then
somebody
Crystal's
on
like,
our
you don't know
titties.
what the hell you're talking
don't.
about.
That's true. Crystal's
That is
right.
true. Yeah.
Oh my God, the duty flies are back.
They
Here.
are.
They're in here. Kevin, I'm sorry. We have duty flies that have invaded
Y'all
our
gotta
studio.
clean that toilet.
And I
What
thought
happened?
I cleaned the toilet.
I'm
It's not the
sweating.
toilet this time. I think it's our garbage disposal.
And then my kids are screaming, "You're making us hate this." And then the instructor's like, "It's all about them having fun
Yeah.
and then
He's
making
like, all right,
contact." with-"
Tiger Woods, at it. Have at it.
Hey, well, speaking of Tiger Woods, I'm like, I saw the documentary. The dad would sit him in the as a baby, and then make him the baby watch him hit balls in the garage.
Yeah.
That's how you make a Tiger Woods. You don't just let him have fun. You have to force them to do hard work.
Why are you screaming at me? I don't want to play golf. This guy yelling at me.
Anyway, is that how you do it, Captain?
That's exactly how you do it.
Okay.
Yeah, how did you learn how to play? Like, what was kind of your golfing journey? Like, so you started playing at what age?
I started playing at 9. When I was
So right around
when I was
Tommy's age.
15 is when I got really serious about it, and I came from a baseball family, and I quit baseball, quit football, which is a big thing in Texas where I'm from.
Oh,
To
yeah.
quit football is a big deal. And,
He's gay!
And I was, that was around. I was right same time when I saw Tiger in person for the first time, and I was just hooked. And so I started. I mean, I was the 15-year-old kid who was obsessed with golf, and then it's led to a career.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I got a lot of buddies of mine that were golfing guys who ended up working for like Golf Channel or especially around here. I mean, if you live in Florida, if you like golf, it's not like we have any shortage of courses. You know, I
Absolutely.
mean, this is golf land.
This is golf mecca.
So the reason golf confuses me is because I can't really understand whether it's like how important genetics are involved in this whole scenario.
So you can't just
to the
let it
best.
be. You got to
Well,
understand it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay.
I need
All
to
right.
understand it because like I'll look at like if my sons want to be a wide receiver in the NFL, I'll tell them don't even try because it's.
But what if they enjoy it? So
like,
you
it's
are.
not in
So
you.
you
It's not in
only
you.
want them to do something that statistically they might be good at. You don't want them to do something that they may not be good at it, but they
Okay.
love it. What
Well,
if they love it?
If they love it, that's fine. Do it. I'll support them. But I'm just saying, if their goal is to get some, I'll be like, well, it's impossible for you because you just don't have the fast twitch muscles that and the hand-eye coordination that the best of the
Yeah,
best
but you
have.
could coach.
Yeah. Well,
You could still work on it. You could go into sports medicine. You could go into like.
I'll tell them all that. I'm just saying, if you want to be this, it's impossible because you just don't have the genetics. But then
God.
I look at golf, and then I'm like, can you practice past your genetics? Like, or are these the best of the best? Like, just have something better in their brain and the way they hit the ball and stuff. They're just better than 99% of the world, and that's what got them here.
Yeah. What do you
right?
think?
I mean, I think when you come out to the Arnold Palmer, you'll see that golfers can be all shapes and sizes, and they all hit the ball at different lengths. They all have different strengths. And so it's just about the commitment to it and the understanding of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, like in preparation, I knew you were going to be on today. I was watching like a mini documentary about the new. I guess they're doing a new PGA game that's going to be coming out. I was just watching some of the like behind the scenes of what they did, and they actually took as many of the top tier golfers. I think it was 100 or more, and they scanned all of their swings. So they can get them all accurate and they even made the point of exactly what you were saying in that, like, they're not even sure they understand how everybody's swing works because you could have a guy built like me who's like squattier who has a swing that technically shouldn't even work, but it works. Or a guy that's tall and lanky like Tommy, let's say, like skinny.
Yeah.
But his swing, when you look at it, you're like, I don't even know, but it worked. It's like, so they scan all of them and they're putting them into the game so you can see the uniqueness and slow it down. They slowed some of them down so you can see how the shaft of the golf club at the last minute, it may not work, but he's able to get that club face correct, and boom, there it goes. And it's like, that's why it works, is because he knows it's different for everybody.
Although, didn't like Tiger prove that like working out and being super fit actually does? I mean, it makes sense that it
Well,
does
he
improve
changed
your
that.
game.
Up to that point, a lot of golfers were like kind of just like dad bods, but he proved, and now you see the guys coming up behind him, and they're all like Jack Diesel, like muscle dudes.
Yeah,
well, not
yeah.
like bodybuilders, but you know what I mean. Like they look like swimmers and fit.
They work out to
Yeah.
enhance their swing, right?
Well, they're also athletes that maybe 20 years ago would have chosen a different sport.
Correct.
But, Tiger changed the game in terms of, one, treating golf like a sport and then attracting all these other people. And, it's part of his legacy is that now it's harder for him to compete than ever because of all the guys that he created, essentially.
I would say that if I were him too. I'd look at all of them. I'd be like, I created all of you.
Yeah, you should.
It always impresses me, which I don't know why, that his son is really good at golf. Which I'm like, of course he is.
That whole tournament in my house.
adorable.
I'm blanking on the name of it.
The PNC.
Yeah, the PNC. My wife and daughter are obsessed with that. Like we'll always watch that tournament when it's on, just because of the kind of the family aspect of it, and the fact that like that is such a cool, that I think gets other people interested in like tournaments like this, like the big boy tournaments.
Yeah.
You know,
I wonder if that's because the son isn't just inherently, genetically predisposed to be good at golf, and also your dad is Tiger Woods, so you like, of course, you're obsessed with this. And
I mean, John Daly's son's no slouch. He was playing good too. He's crushing it. I mean, they made some stuff. I was like, whoo, look at that. And some of that, I feel like that's just natural talent in the blood.
Yeah. But also seeing your dad, this huge celebrity in golf, you like want to emulate that.
Sure.
Although my son's they never
work on that.
Well, they never mentioned that they want to do anything close to what I want to do.
Don't worry, man. He doesn't do that either. It's not like I want to be a short podcaster.
Why is that? Why did they want to do it? And then our kids,
we're not as good, dude. We're just not as good.
Yeah, not as famous.
What's the best shot you've ever seen? I know I asked. I want, like, you've got to see a lot of tournaments.
Right.
What do you think is the most memorable golf memory you have, or that you you actually got to see live?
So 2011 Masters final round, Tiger Woods started the day 7 shots back. Now when guys finish 9 holes, they call it making the turn, right?
Right.
So he started the day 7 shots back. He made the turn, tied for the lead, and that was incredible. And I think he birdied 4 of the first 6 holes. And then he eagled number 8, and it just sent a roar throughout the entire place. So at Augusta, nobody has a cell phone. So everyone is locked in on what's happening. And when he made that eagle, the entire place was set ablaze.
Also, that affects, and I love this aspect of golf, and people don't talk about it that much, but they do in the video games for some reason. I get a lot of sports like knowledge and terminology from video games, and making the turn, and then they emulate what he's talking about, where you'll hear the crowd in the distance on another hole, like, and they'll be like, oh, Tiger must be lighting it up. We don't know what's happening. We'll have to find out. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And that is a real thing. Also, psychologically, imagine you're on another tee.
Yeah.
And you're tied for the lead with Tiger. And then you hear that right before your shot.
Yeah.
Pressure's on now, man. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about you standing there knowing, but you hear somewhere else on the course somebody else killing it, and you're like, oh no.
Well, that's one of the great things, right? In golf, you can't play defense, but you can definitely play offense.
Yeah, for sure.
How many people follow the golfer they want to see to each hole as compared to just staying at the hole and letting them come to you?
Because that's a good question.
I feel like I'm a let them come to me.
Yeah, I am too.
Here.
That's how I did it with the ladies.
yeah, like I'm not walking this out too far. So far.
I'm tired.
I mean, it's split right down the middle. I think that's the great thing, is that it's literally an event for everybody. I mean, there's something for everyone. There's something for parents with kids. There's something for the people who just want to sit around and drink and watch golf all day. So,
awesome.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer.
Because it's like it's a golf tournament, but it's also a party, but it's also, it's everything, I mean, these things it's no longer just a tournament. It's like it's an entire weekend.
And I mean, there's so many things. I mean, if you just go on the Arnold Palmer Invitational website, like there's so many things to see and do. It's like not just watching golf. There's the interactive things.
There's enough for you to go there, look at it, and plan out your days. I mean,
absolutely.
I want to go there. I mean, it's like a theme park of golf at that point.
And again, get your tickets to the White Claw fan deck. It's on TomandDan.com. It's at the top. You just click through. You can get your tickets.
It's an amazing value for a great spot that I think you guys will dig, because it's got just about everything our listeners could ever want.
We will all be out there on Thursday. We'll be at the White Claw fan deck watching, and then also recording some ACT out there. And if you want your tickets, get them through.
What's your favorite
website.
White Claw, buddy? Flavor.
Well, there's so many now. But I like.
I'm a boring, basic old lime dad. Give me the lime.
I like a mango. I like a watermelon. I like a black cherry. Even like a lemon.
Lemon is good.
There's like 15 now, so it's basically everything.
Yeah, they got every different. Are they the big boys out there or the little boys?
What?
White Claw.
Nowadays.
So usually you go to an event, they usually give you the cannon charge.
Oh yeah, I do like the charge.
Yeah, have you had a cannon charge yet?
Yeah.
I wonder if like golf courses where they're like, here, we brought cannon. I'm like, oh, come on. Why couldn't you just keep the sensible can?
I feel like when I see the cannon charge, you get that at the movie theater too, and
Yes.
I don't think they know.
Yeah, you're gonna put me to sleep. I'm watching Ant-Man. I'm falling asleep.
It's like, oh, they got a cannon charge. I mean, this is like double a regular beer.
Three.
I don't
It's 2.5 White Claws.
I think they think like psychologically that it's like, oh, it's not the same. It's like, no, it's like
it's
3.5. I'm like, whoa, yeah. I'm like, I always pump my fist when they have the cannon charge.
I said, whoa, mama. In front of it. I said, whoa,
And
mama.
like the person ordering this doesn't know that this is 3.5 to 1. Anyway, sorry, Cavender. All right.
How did he start listening to the show? So we find that out.
Yeah. Were you going to
Golf
school with your dad?
School with your
Because that always makes me
I
feel
thought you
old.
meant going to school with your dad, like
No.
Rodney Dangerfield and Back to School.
No, anytime we have a younger listener and they're like, my dad used to listen to this while I
yeah,
drive to
yeah,
school. I'm
yeah.
like, God damn it, like, your dad. Like, you were a kid?
No, I found it myself.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
All good.
But
Yeah,
how?
Yeah, he doesn't want to tell you. Yeah, did you hear that? He's like, I found it myself. Good day.
No, I moved here in 2016 from Texas, and I think heard you guys on the radio, and then started dipping
So
my
the
toes
radio.
into it. And then,
The radio works.
Now,
Well, it's good for
fully
Tom to
in.
hear that. He
That's
doesn't
in 2016.
That's true.
Times
true.
have changed.
HD radios were popular then.
How long can I say
7
times
years
have
ago.
changed before I die and then nothing changed?
That's the game, right? And the joke's on you. as soon-
2040, I'm like, times have changed.
Joke's on you. As soon as
Go
you
around.
die, everything changes.
Yeah. Oh,
Like it was Tom the whole time.
Yeah, rapidly. It changes so rapidly.
All right. Well, we should keep going because we went too far now. So,
So, Cavender, sorry, you're going to help us do voicemails.
what
Yeah.
should we- I want to talk to you about putt-putt golf. Because hold on, I have a point here. Because
Do real golfers play putt-putt for fun?
well,
Absolutely. Everybody does.
putting is an important part of golf, and
Oh, wow, we got a ringer here. This guy
And-
knows.
but I've noticed, like, speaking of Tiger Woods, like he's now got a franchise of like more realistic putt-putt golf courses that I see.
But
pop up.
realistic putt. I like a windmill. I
Oh,
like
the pop stroke.
I like a pig where it goes in the mouth, it comes out the hiney.
Yes.
I
it's-
like a pirate cave.
Yeah. There's like some sort of like bumps and like
Whoopie humps.
Yeah,
I like a
whoopie
whoopie
hump,
hump.
yeah. Whoopie hump bumps and water hazards.
Whoopie hump bump.
Yeah, things that
I've been playing too much Harry Potter. I'm
Yeah,
using
yeah.
these fake baby names.
So when it's too real,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, you're kind of
Well,
taking.
what am I doing here? Also, I
Yeah.
feel like it's cheaper if it's too real because I'm like, wow, you didn't pony up for a windmill. Because I feel like the windmills are kind of expensive, you know?
I also like when it disappears in the hole. You think it's a hole, and then it pops out some sort of
Yeah.
rocks, like
Yeah. And I like to be able
papier-mâché
to, and I
rock.
have to be able to see the PVC tube in the hole, so I know that
Yeah.
this was engineered by a couple of rednecks and some concrete.
Yeah, and I like
And I like an alligator pit where you can feed the alligator.
and then when the last hole takes your ball, so you can't play anymore.
We always would go down to the bottom and stop it from getting our ball, so we'll start over. We would always do. Would you do that, Cavender? You're laughing like you did.
No,
And you're from Texas, and you're
Everyone's done it.
Floridians and people from Texas.
We get
There's one
along.
thing I know: we cheat at putt-putt. All Floridians and all Texas.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
guys call it? Texicans?
Texans?
Texas. Oh,
Yeah.
I was going. Texicanas.
Yeah.
Texicans. Texicans. I was
Yeah.
going to call them Texicans.
Wow.
Call me whatever you want.
But I think that's a Mexican Texan, right? Is a Texican?
And then when you're trying to putt, your putt motion will knock into your concealed weapon that you got in your pocket and throw it off. So you're like, I tuck this in my butt.
Yeah, gotta turn it around a little bit, or give it to your wife to put in her purse. But now she's got two guns. That's Texas, right?
Sorry, Cavender.
We gave Cavender a glass of water out of a Line and Kugel Shandy's old glass, dusty glass. I had to clean that myself with hand soap.
We have not filled enough time.
We are struggling.
I have a voicemail.
No,
I have
okay,
voicemails ready to
all right,
run.
go ahead.
He just didn't want to do that,
He
but
didn't
I'd
wanna
already
do
thrown in the
it.
towel.
I want more golf.
I'd thrown in the towel. All right, Cavender's going to help us with a couple of voicemails, and we'll make our way out of here. Let's try this one.
Hey, Tom and Dan. I've been listening to you guys for a dozen plus years. I mean, since you guys started pretty much. And man, you guys had some great stories back in the day, and you guys were wild and funny. then you had kids, and it's still good. But it's different, but it's good. We're all older, you know. I don't get
Perfectly
stories
fine.
like, you know, hey, that girl took her shirt off when Tom was at the pool, or, you know, Daniel crashing his Bronco 2 into some field and passing out drunk as a teenager.
don't say
Those
that
were
in
all
front of
great
Cavender.
stories. Or, you know, the Daisy Fuentes cousin.
Stop.
Yeah, at the keg. But
Oh, I remember that.
you guys
story.
have done some really awesome interviews lately. A lot of the Weird Job Wednesdays have been killer, and you guys are excellent interviewers. Besides the storytelling and the conversational improv, which you're great at, but you guys are killing interviews lately. So, thanks.
No.
okay.
What was that?
It's basically saying
know if that
the
was a
most
roast.
part of our show that we do, which is improvisational talk, not that good.
Not that
You know what?
good.
No,
The
yeah.
interviews, really good.
I would agree with that.
We need more interviews.
I would agree. When we let other people talk, it's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I feel like it's telling Tiger Woods you're good at driving the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you and
Or it's like telling, like, John Daly's good at driving the car.
yeah,
Now. Even though he's still really good, he's just not what he was.
yeah. I'm sorry about that, Cavender.
Oh,
that
man.
guy doesn't no idea what he's talking about.
It's making our show look bad in front of Cavender.
We're better than ever. Don't believe that.
Stronger than we've ever been.
Don't listen to our
And you made,
listeners.
you made an excellent decision.
Yeah. Our interviews used to be the worst part of the
Yeah.
show. That's what
And we
listeners
we
all-
vowed to turn them around, and we did. But maybe we've neglected some other things because we vowed to turn the interviews around.
Yeah. They're so hard.
It's ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows. It's like live, Cavender.
Too
It's
much
like live.
content.
Yeah. We're here. We record too much. Got too many things
Look how
going
sweaty
on.
all of us now because our air conditioning's
Stop
broke.
working.
Hold on, Cavender. Let me see if there's there. Oh, it's broken. It's
It gets so hot in here.
Yeah, it did get so hot in here, and I saw him sweating. I was like, it's just because we're celebrities. But I realized it's us. It's us that's making everyone
All right,
sweat.
promise is the last golf question. Have there been any rule changes in the past years that because
They
I'm
changed
not
the color
familiar-
of the ball this year to green.
Well,
hard.
is there? Okay.
I mean, they're constantly evaluating things, but I think one of the biggest ones the last couple of years is that now they can putt with the pin in, right? And I think that was a simple thing that changed a couple of years ago that was
That
always
sounds dirty, by the way, doesn't it? Like putting with the pin in.
But that will actually give you an advantage because sometimes you hit the ball too
hard,
it'll skip over and then hit the rim out, right?
I mean, there's differing opinions on it. There's sometimes where it helps, sometimes where it hurts. So I think for a lot of golfers, it's just making sure, however they feel comfortable and whatever process they want to do, they stick with it.
I feel more comfortable putting with the pin out. It just feels better.
Yeah. Well,
Putting with a pin is uncomfortable to me.
well,
I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking
the
about.
flag.
Flagpole.
You know, like you get to the green and you always like a golfer walks up to the flagpole and he always takes it out.
Tin the pole. Or
I was
tin the flag.
every time I'm playing a tournament, which is really
I
just
do the
the
move. I go,
Akoi golf
leave it in,
tournament.
leave it in.
I always like going and doing that part because I can't. I'm horrible.
I
at
like
golf.
to hold the flag. What do you like with
Well,
Mama?
I feel like
Mama let me lick the spoon after we made cookies. You're such a baby.
Well, if I feel like I'm contributing to the team because I'm so
Look,
bad.
I held the flag, guys. Look, I'm the best flag holder. You still like me?
and then I take it out and I'm like, see what I've done now. I've taken the flag out.
I'm the best at flags.
It's also embarrassing when I walk all the way to the green and forget to bring my putter. and
Oh,
then have to,
yeah, that's because you're drunk.
Oh yeah, I'm drunk. And then I have to lightly trot back to the goddamn golf cart and get my putter. And then I'm like, well, I'm not even gonna help because I'm obviously gonna miss it.
You know, Cavender, my daughter, said to me yesterday that she wanted to be. She's 7. She said, "I want to be a cart girl," and I punched her right in the face.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You can never do that.
All right, we finally.
We
Yeah,
got
we
it.
got it.
We got
Yeah.
it. I think Kevin gave us a golf club. He's like, I will give you a 3
I'll
clapper.
give you 2 Ricky Fowlers.
Thanks again, man, for
Yeah,
thinking of us. I
You're a
appreciate
good
it.
sport. Thanks for coming in.
And listen, as long as
letting
you
us be
guys
weird.
buy tickets for the White Claw Fan Deck, we could do this again. And if you don't buy it, it's your fault. You ruined it, not
Yeah.
us.
I started victim blaming our listeners. I'm like, look, if this thing fails, it's because you didn't listen. It's not because we didn't perform.
Yeah, we told you. Now we pushed the limits a little bit. And Kevin is not going to show this to any higher ups or anything. But you keep this one
Oh,
quiet.
they're watching. I see her in the chat room right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hope you didn't tell
There are
anybody about
avatars
this.
up there. Or arms crossed. It looks weird.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We will see you tomorrow.
All right. Is that it for the? That is it.
Yes, but I do need an intro before you leave for your haircut.
Yes, and he's got to go soon, so let's get it done. Guys,